Islam Makhachev is the UFC lightweight champion. He's the best fighter on earth at 155 pounds, and he just got an incredible win over Charles do Bronx Oliveira, the submission king, the most finishes in UFC history, and it does not matter to Islam Makhachev because he just submitted Charles Oliveira, the submission king himself, in 2 rounds. And I was wrong. I picked Charles Oliveira to finish Islam Makhachev by KO or TKO in the first round or a submission in the second or third round. And Islam Makhachev blew me away with his striking because I thought that while this was standing, while these two men were fighting, if it was in the stand-up, every moment would favor Charles Oliveira, and boy, was I wrong. I didn't put too much stake into the defensive stats of Islam Makhachev. He rarely gets hit, but man, his stats didn't change much in this one because he rarely got hit clean with anything. I don't even think Charles Oliveira landed more than 1 clean shot to the head of Islam Makhachev. And Islam Makhachev just pieced up Charles Oliveira like nothing. And it was evident that Charles Oliveira was not as comfortable on the feet facing a dominant wrestler and grappler like Islam Makhachev, and it looked like he was very gun-shy. Not only was he gun-shy, but it looked like he didn't even have the speed advantage. It looked like he was a little bit scared of the takedown, and Islam Makhachev capitalized on it and showed to be the better striker in MMA. And that's how it is. And I thought that going into this fight, Charles Oliveira has incredible striking. Look at what he's done to Justin Gaethje. Look at what he's done to Dustin Poirier. But those guys are strikers. And I thought, man, Islam's not that great. But Islam Makhachev, going into this fight, had the perfect game plan. He was not rushing in for any takedowns. He was not panic wrestling. He took his time. He let the fight come to him. And he capitalized off of every single moment, pieced up Charles Oliveira on the feet in the first couple rounds, landed amazing combinations on him. He wasn't just landing one shot. He was landing combos, straight right with a hook, jab, right, cross. He was landing combos on Charles with power, with speed, and Charles Oliveira looked flustered. And it was actually in the grappling that this fight actually was pretty close. In the first round, Islam Makhachev took down Charles Oliveira, didn't have much success. Sure, he won the first round, but Charles Oliveira was holding his own. And I thought, okay, par for the course. This is kind of what I expected. He's going to go out there in the second or third round, get some more opportunities to hurt Islam Makhachev, and he just couldn't do anything to him. He could not hurt Islam Makhachev. He looked awkward in there. He looked unsure of himself. And that was just because Islam Makhachev was the better fighter. He bamboozled Charles Oliveira. When he took him down, he was winning the fight. And in the stand-up, he was winning. So ultimately, Charles Oliveira had no fucking chance. And Islam Makhachev proved me wrong. And I got to give him all the respect because he is the better fighter. He's the best fighter at lightweight, one of the best fighters on earth right now. The lightweight division is so stacked. You have to say the king of the lightweight division is one of the best fighters on earth. And I'm not going to be one of these guys that says, well, Charles Oliveira was shitty anyway. It wasn't as good as I thought. Well, yes, he wasn't as good as I thought, but he's still a beast. Islam Makhachev is just a whole lot better than I thought. And to anyone that's saying, keep that same energy, I don't really understand that statement. Am I supposed to act delusional, to act like the results never came out, to pretend that the fight didn't happen the way it went down? If I were to just sit here and shit on Islam Makhachev, that would make no sense. That would just be pure bitterness, saltiness, and it would just be me coping with the fact that I hate the outcome. Now, I'm not so crazy about the outcome. I think Charles Oliveira is a more entertaining champion. I think that Islam Makhachev has a more dominant style. The one thing that makes Charles Oliveira so fun to watch and so fun to root for is because the guy can get knocked down and get back up and finish someone. And that in and of itself almost makes you seem invincible. You can't be finished. And Islam Makhachev just put an end to his win streak. And one thing that I have to say is I appreciate Charles Oliveira as a champion. It was fun while it lasted, his title reign. And His title reign is over. It's time for Islam Makhachev to make his run. And I don't see anyone beating Islam Makhachev. He really dominated Charles Oliveira. And again, the stand-up is what impressed me the most. I knew Islam was good in his defensive abilities, but his striking, his boxing has never looked this good. I mean, he looked crisp on the feet. He was fast. He was setting up his shots. He was counter-striking. He was landing with power. And he dropped Charles Oliveira, jumped on him, and disposed of him like it was nothing. Submitted him. Who is going to beat this man? I think that Beneil Dariush is going to be his toughest test. 100%. I just think that Islam is probably better. He is. He's probably the better fighter. But that is a great fight. Charles Oliveira, I think he should fight Max Holloway. I think that Charles Oliveira should get a big fight. I want to see him fight in Brazil. I know he wants to get this one back. Send him to Brazil, 5 rounds with a big name like Max Holloway. I don't think Beneil Dariush is going to want to turn around. I think Beneil Dariush has earned himself a title shot. He has the same manager as Islam Makhachev, Ali Abdelaziz. And if I'm his manager, I'm saying, listen, man, you got your spot. Just wait this one out. Islam's going to fight Volk. You come in and you fight whoever's the champion after that. And I think that's how it should go. You know, a lot of people are saying, no, he should fight Beneil Dariush, Charles Oliveira, Beneil Dariush in Brazil. Beneil Dariush doesn't really want that fight, I don't think he should take it. It's not really smart for his career. He should sit out and just wait for his title shot. Charles Oliveira needs to get a win or two. I still would give Charles Oliveira a slight chance, but if these guys fight again, I'm going to go with Islam Makhachev, 95% chance to win. Again, if you go in there and you have nothing for Islam Makhachev on the feet, and you are tentative, and you're not sure of yourself, and you're gun shy, all of these things, you're just not able to do any damage to him, you're not able to hit him clean, how could you beat this guy? You're not the better wrestler. You're not going to get him on his back. And we learned that when Charles Oliveira is on his back, when he's rocked, he can get finished. And Islam Makhachev really impressed me. He's just so good. I got to say it. He's really good. I was wrong. I didn't think he was this good. So he proved me wrong. And now I got to give him the respect. You know, he proved that he's the best fighter on earth at 155 pounds. And to beat a beast like Charles Oliveira, you're a monster. Now he's going to fight Alexander Volkanovski. But how is Volk going to win? Volkanovski is a better striker than Charles Oliveira. He's faster. He's going to be moving up. He'll have the speed advantage without a doubt. But, man, Islam Makhachev is fast. Like, he's really fast. And people better start giving him credit for his striking, because I know for a fact I haven't seen anyone strike like that who's from Dagestan. I had never seen Khabib strike like that. He is a much better striker than Khabib. He's dangerous on the feet. And to any grappler that fights him, he's dangerous on the feet. For anyone that fights him, he's dangerous on the feet, because everyone's so worried about the takedown. No one wants to get taken down. And not only that, but he's just a great striker these days. So for MMA, his striking is fucking amazing. I just think that he's so much bigger than Volkanovski. Volkanovski got in the cage after their fight, and he stood face-to-face with Islam Makhachev. And this is a blown-up Volkanovski who just did his little weight cut, but he's not cutting that much weight. He's probably 170 pounds. And, man, Islam Makhachev was so much bigger than him. And this was the day after his weight cut. I just think that there's too much of a size disadvantage for Alexander Volkanovski, and I think Islam Makhachev is just going to take him down and just beat him up and eventually submit him on the ground. I think Volkanovski has really good submission defense, but, I mean, the guy's a dog. That's really where you give him a chance, because he's an absolute dog. He wants this so badly. He trains so hard. There are not many people with the work ethic of Alexander Volkanovski. There's not many fighters that have ever had his work ethic. I mean, to be the backup fighter for this alone, as a champion, as a dominant champion, is already testament to that work ethic. But Islam Makhachev works hard too, and he's probably going to finish Alexander Volkanovski. And I have to say this, I'll leave you on this note. If Islam Makhachev can beat Alexander Volkanovski, his resume is incredible. Khabib has never had a win like Charles Oliveira. Khabib has never beaten someone who's as dangerous on the ground as Charles Oliveira. Would Khabib have beaten Charles Oliveira? Maybe. Is Islam better than Khabib? I think Islam is maybe even better than Khabib. I would maybe favor Khabib after seeing this matchup. I mean, Charles Oliveira, when he's on his back and he knows that some guy's going to try to take him down over and over again, his striking isn't nearly on that same level. And, if he can go out there and beat Volkanovski, that's a win over Volkanovski, the pound-for-pound king, and the win over Charles Oliveira, who I believe was number 3 at the time, pound-for-pound. He's going to be pound-for-pound number 1. That is one hell of a resume. And if he defends one more time, he's the best lightweight of all time. So, Islam Makhachev, it's looking real good for him. He's young. I think he'll go on to be the greatest lightweight ever. I think his toughest matchup is going to be Beneil Dariush, maybe Rafael Fiziev, but I'd go with Islam Makhachev in both of those matchups. They're interesting fights, but I don't think Volkanovski's that much of an interesting fight. I'd rather see Beneil Dariush in there, but Volkanovski's earned it more than Beneil Dariush. He's a fucking defending champion 4 times. I mean, come on, how could you say he doesn't earn it more? And Charles Oliveira should fight Max Holloway. If he doesn't fight Max, who's he going to fight? Maybe a Conor, someone who wants to fight him in Brazil. Rafael Fiziev, they might make that one, but that's going to be a tough one. I think I'd favor Charles Oliveira in that one. Beneil Dariush is a tough fight for him, but I'd like to see him fight Max Holloway 5 rounds in Brazil. Let me know what you guys think of this video. Islam Makhachev proved me wrong. 72 strikes to 25. We can look at this. 72. Look at this. I don't even remember him landing 51 strikes in the first round, but man, he was landing some good ground and pound. Charles Oliveira with 10 strikes, and a lot of the second round was on the feet in the clinch, and Islam Makhachev just outstriking him and submits him. Second round. I was fucking wrong. I was dead wrong on this. Charles Oliveira, I think he could get a title shot again. I think he could work his way back up, but he's got to do it fast because he's 33. He's only getting older. He's got to take some more fights. If he can win 2 more in a row, put him back in the title shot. I'd love to see him fight Islam again because, again, no one's really saying this, but the fight was good while it lasted. It was good seeing these guys on the ground. Even though Islam clearly won the first round, it was still interesting. He couldn't really pass over the guard so easily of Charles. Stacked the guard at the end, and Charles Oliveira almost had a submission on him, but unless Islam knew that the round was almost over, so that's why he stacked the guard to begin with, and if he knew that the round wasn't almost over, he wouldn't have done that. He just wanted to land some more shots at the end of the round to really cap it off. But, man, this was a great fight while it lasted. Interesting, but Islam Makhachev hardly got hit, wasn't really put in any danger, came out with a win over the most dangerous guy in the lightweight division. Smooth sailing from here on out. It's going to be some good grappling watching him versus Beneil, but him versus Volkanovski, I think it's domination. I think he'll finish Volkanovski within 3 rounds. So I think Volkanovski will give him a tougher fight than Charles Oliveira because Charles Oliveira's striking did not look good in this one. When he's going up against a guy who's this good on the ground, didn't look good. And when he's on his back, he's not as dangerous. So until next time, guys.